Great. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for coming relatively early during the day in Barcelona at Primavera Pro. This panel is about solutions to ticket scalping and the role of the search engines that help facilitate it. I'm Shemtob. I run an organization called FEET, which is working to build a safe and fair ticket resale market across Europe. And panelists, will you introduce yourselves?
Okay, I'm Neo Sala, founder of Dr. Music, concert promoters. I've been promoting concert all my life, since I was in the early, since I was 18. So I had a few experiences with, contacts with people that resell tickets. So can talk about that later.
Thank you. Nicole?
Yeah, my name is Nicole. And I used to run a ticketing company which was specialized in personalized ticketing, so I'm pretty much an insider on secondary ticketing.
My name is Scumeck. I run a German concert promoting company. Like Neo, I've been doing this most of my life. At the moment, I'm on tour with a German band called Rammstein, and I promote the European tour. And we are on the forefront of trying to kill secondary ticketing. So I would say that I'm a little bit of an insider as well. Can I ask, who's here from ticketing? Who's here from promoting? Ticketing? We can't actually see much. Okay, one ticketing, two ticketing.
Okay, two.
And promoting.
One.
Okay. Just for out of interest, who's
anybody from Google?
No. Anybody from Viagogo, maybe? No. Or no. Okay. All right.
Great. So a fairly mixed audience, and I'm sure you all know about the ticket resale problems, but just very briefly, this is a multi-billion euro industry in Europe alone. It's growing by 10% year on year. There are dozens and dozens of legal cases across Europe concerning ticket resale. And right now, if you were to search Beyoncé, Harry Styles, Hans Zimmer, or any leading artists touring in Europe today, you will be able to find, you will find tickets offered for 30, 40, even more times their original face value. And even if, as a consumer, you buy one of these tickets, you're not even guaranteed to get in. And there's been many, many stories of tickets being sold that don't even exist. And unfortunately, things are even getting worse. And we're now seeing fatalities that are related to ticketing issues. So, but don't take it from me or from the papers. We've got a really incredible, esteemed panel here. And just to kick us off, Scumeck and Nicole, do you want to tell us a bit about what it's like on the front line dealing with these issues?
On the front line, in the trenches as it is, in 2010, we were asked to provide the sales of tickets for a British boy band called Take That. And Take That in 2010 were coming back together with the lost member Robbie Williams, and they were doing a European tour. And the people that asked us to organize the German dates said, is there any way that we can personalize each ticket to each buyer so that this ticket cannot be sold for profit? So we did. We sold 100,000 tickets for those, I think, 3 or 4 shows. And nobody believed that we would actually check each person's name in each ticket. But we did, because maybe we're Germans and maybe we really wanted to eradicate ticketing, secondary ticketing. And so we did the first show in Hamburg, and we sold 40,000 tickets. And from those 40,000 tickets, 2,000 tickets had been sold through the secondary ticketing site. So when a ticket should actually name Nicole Jacobsen, it would say Tim Smith. And so whoever actually turned up, we said, well, hang on a minute, you're not Nicole and you're not Tim, who the fuck are you? You're not getting in. And then people realized, okay, so this actually means that I've been fucked, basically. And Nicole then had the fantastic task to tell these people they had bought tickets from a secondary ticketing site, and then what to do next. So Nicole, tell us what then happened.
Well, I mean, that was the biggest challenge when we had the first stadium tour, because they didn't believe that we would check every single fan. And then, so we had I think we had 10 troubleshooters on site, on tour, and one therapist, because there was really hundreds and hundreds of crying fans not able to get in. And the whole thing about secondary ticketing is so complex, so we had to prepare ourselves really profoundly in order to explain to the fans what happened to them. Because they don't distinguish between primary and secondary market. And that was really 10 years ago, 12 years ago, nobody knew anything about it. So, but we managed to, I mean, take that, we didn't manage to really raise awareness that much, because our goal was to get everybody in. We held back some tickets to offer, because there were several tickets canceled, so they really couldn't get in. But they were able to buy another ticket at face value, so they could see the show. And I believe that in the end, only a small bunch of people missed the support group. So that was really, really a huge success for this project. And then since then, it only got better.
Yeah, it got better. Just to maybe round up the story. So that was the first tour where we actually enforced it on a stadium level. We then found out that the touts, the secondary ticketing marketers, sell only the tickets that are absolutely hot. So whether it was a small gig or a big gig, we then pre-thought, so when we do a show at the Berghain, which is a club in Berlin, that is relatively small. So if we were to do, for example, a show there was the Antwoord, who were super hot, and we were putting up two concerts there, we personalized the ticket. So it didn't really matter how expensive the ticket was. So if it was a 24 € ticket, we still wanted the fans to be protected and not or in their mind, had to go to a reselling platform and buy the ticket for maybe 100 euros. So we started doing that on very, very different levels. And after, I would say, maybe a bunch of years, people kind of got to know the hang of it. So we personalized, just to give you the range from what we did, we personalized Björk, Massive Attack, Die Antwoord, Rammstein, Kraftwerk, everything that was kind of hot and people were crazy, we personalized. And over the period of time, people understood, okay, so that my name is on the ticket means that I get in, I can't sell it. I can sell it for someone else, but not for profit. So we put basically mechanicals inside the ticketing system that didn't allow for the ticket price to go up. You could still sell it, but you couldn't make profit on it. And it's been working quite well.
Yeah, I mean, that's important that we offered. You could change the name on the ticket by sending a request, and our team would, they check manually for a possible secondary market sale. And then if you didn't want to go anymore, we had an in-house ticket exchange where you could sell, but maximum at face value or cheaper. So the whole system was actually able not to need any secondary platforms, because we had everything in our hands. So so that is important, because you have to, with big shows like this, you go on pre-sale 6, 9, 12 months ahead, so you have to offer kind of an option to.
Yeah.
So Nicole and Scumeck, as you see, really pioneered in Europe personalized ticketing, and they've also given their time, Nicole in particular, to prepare a guide on this, and for ticketing professionals, promoters and agents in the audience and listening via the live stream, that is available from the FEAT website, from the resources section of the FEAT website. Download it, read it, and get in touch with us if you have any questions. She's also, Nicole has authored another guide, which you'll have to email us about. It's finding and removing scalp tickets. So feel free to get in touch with us if you're on this side of the the live business and want to know more. And that's one of the leading ways we can solve this issue, which is industry best practice. And another way is legislation and making sure that the legislative environment is strong and these rules are being enforced. And that is another thing that we're very active on. But today's session is not really looking specifically at either best practice or legislation. It's looking at the third issue here, which is consumer awareness and the consumer journey, because at the end of the day, it's consumers who are being regularly confused across this process, paying way over the odds for tickets and occasionally not even getting in once they've done that. And Neo, as somebody who's been in this all your adult life and probably before that as well, and seen it right from the beginning, before the internet even existed. Not to say that, what can you tell us about that consumer journey?
Well, first of all, I would like to say reselling will always exist. And we are, of course, concerned about it, but more about concerned just about reselling. We are concerned about the scale of it. So I remember when I started going to concerts, I was a teenager in the late 70s. It was only maybe the show will be announced. Maybe it will be one place in Barcelona or in Madrid where you buy the tickets. Normally, you didn't go to buy in advance. You went to the show the same day, 3 hours, 4 hours before. Very strange, the show was sold out, so you get tickets. And when they were sold out, you find these funny characters near the box office saying, tickets, 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 But the scale of that, maybe in a 10,000 capacity venue, was maybe 50 tickets, 100 tickets, so it was not really that much. Then it was the other situation where a friend will buy 4 or 5 tickets, and then he passed them to his friends on a way that his ticket will be for free. We were not concerned about that, so that was sort of fine. But this kept growing. Then came the 80s, the 90s, and the shows were selling more tickets, and there were more outlets in the city, record shops mainly selling tickets. So the shows were sold out in advance. People was taking ads in newspaper announcing tickets, but still we were talking about maybe 2-3% of the capacity. So. We need to be realistic. It will always be some scalping because it's black market. A black market exists, since civilization was invented. It was a black market. It's in human nature. So we cannot stop reselling 100%. But what we are concerned about the scale, this got when the internet arrived. Year 2000, the internet explodes. And so in a few years, we saw what it was a problem of 2-3% of tickets became a problem of 10%, 20%, and nowadays you can go and sell with an arena show, and maybe 25% of the tickets they go to resale market. Or in the States, I think it's even worse. It can go 50-60% go to resale market, and that's very, very, very worrying, because when you have that situation, when there is a fan that want to see a particular artist and is mad to see it, he will spend all his money on this expensive ticket on the resale, and then he doesn't go to other shows. And we are concert promoters. We are here to promote music. We want people to enjoy music, and we want people to go to as many shows as possible. And part of the fun is discovering new bands. So if a guy spends all his money to see Bruce Springsteen or Coldplay or whatever, then doesn't have money to see the new acts. And also, it is very unfair for young people not being able to get tickets. So we are really concerned about it and about the scale of that. And personalization is great, but the reality is it's many artists, at least in South of Europe, they refuse to do it. And we have to convince them. And they don't. And even when we do it, we have found that the ticket resellers, they change the name. And they say, don't worry, it's valid, and they send the PDF, and they change the name, and they send it. And then, of course, we have the barcode at the door. It shows the right name. It doesn't get in. But personalization, at the end of the day, is passing the problem to the promoter. It's passing the problem to us. And it's fine, and I support personalization, but we need more than that. We need legislation, to stop people who don't have the right to sell tickets. So if I put tickets on sale as a promoter, I have the right to say who I want to sell my tickets. And I don't want Viagogo to sell my tickets. And the truth is, I tell Viagogo, please don't sell my tickets, and they ignore me. And then the legislation doesn't give me a tool, to put down the link, and then Viagogo go to Google, they pay money to Google, they list Viagogo the link, the first one, and I cannot take it down. And that's what, it needs to be much more than personalization. We need legislation that, help promoters that don't want to participate in this scam and this abuse to be able to stop this practice. That's what we need for. And that's what we hope we can discuss and find ways, to convince the right people to support on this.
Well, there's good news with the legislation. A couple of things just to begin with are that the European Court of Justice, a year ago now, ruled that tickets are a contract between the event owner or the event organizer and the ticket holder. And they are a contract for that person to get in and experience the show. They're not a good that can be bought and sold.
That's good news.
Yeah, it's really good news. We've not had anyone test the law at that level yet, but the ECJ have ruled very clearly that the ticket is something that you can control throughout its journey because it's a contract that you have with the person.
This is great because I know in the United States, in some states, ticketing is like a private property. So a ticketing is like owning this sculpture. So I own the ticket, it's mine, so I do what I want with it. So, and we have been supporting this idea that a ticket is a kind of contract or a license for the user to use that service. So it's very good news that you're telling me that this happened and this being enforced, but that could be the start of a solution.
And there's more good news. There's something called the Digital Services Act, which comes into force on the 1st of January 2024, and that will enable very simple notice and actions and a simple takedown procedure if tickets for shows that you are running are being sold that break the terms and conditions of the ticket. There promises to be a simple notice and action system so that you can inform the ticket platform and they will have to remove the ticket in a timely manner. But with all of these things, enforcement is the issue, and right now ticket resale is illegal in Ireland, but if you look at Harry Styles tickets in Ireland, the first link you will see will be to a company like Viagogo. And again, this comes back to the consumer journey. So I don't know if anyone wants to talk about that specifically, like as a consumer, what you do when you want to find a show.
Well, I think I am kind of not really a consumer because I put the show on, but if I buy tickets for, let's say, one of the competitors, and I do not want to ask for free tickets, which I don't, I go up on the internet, I will go to the website of the client, of the artist, and go, okay, how should I buy my ticket? A lot of people, emotionally driven by Harry coming to town, they will just go up to the internet, they will ask the search engine, Harry Styles tickets, Barcelona, in that order, and then most likely a secondary ticketing site will come up, they will look at the site looks very professional, they will buy the ticket, and they've been fucked. I think that's the journey. I think whatever we say here on the panel, and I'm not sure whether the ticketing colleagues in the meager audience would agree, whatever we say and whatever we preach, people are driven by this wanting of, okay, he's coming, there's only that many people, they don't even know how big the room is, it doesn't matter, they want the ticket now. They don't want to wait, they don't want to ask, they don't want to compare prices, they just want the ticket.
It's like that. They will pick up the cell phone, Harry Styles, Barcelona tickets, boom, oh, fantastic, it looks great, oh, it's only 4 tickets left, I'm going to hurry up, bam, 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 boom, okay, bye, done.
Yeah.
And they have been scammed.
Yeah, and then they come to the gate just to finish the complete consumer experience. They come to the show, let's say 8 months later, they show the barcode, and then somebody says, "Excuse me, this is not a correct ticket." And then they will say, "Yeah, but I paid 400 euros for it, therefore it must be real. Therefore, my friend or my whatever, no, it's not." So the consumer, let me put it this way: I think if a lot of our colleagues in the promoting world don't quite give a shit of, to look at every ticket. They just want to sell the ticket to whoever, they want to make the income, and then they want to declare to the agent it's sold out. To a lot of people, that's number one priority. What should be number one priority possibly would be to sell the tickets for the right price to the real fans, maybe in a little bit of a longer time, and then to declare we actually sold ethical and morally priced tickets to the people that we are playing for. The artist is not wanting to play for rich people in the front row. The artist usually wants to play for the fans that have been with them for decades or years or whatever. So it's a much bigger conversation than that, but I think that the consumer journey could stop at that, and then they can't get in.
Well, Scumeck, I'm impressed that you actually have gone, if you want to buy tickets, you go to the promoter's site and you buy the tickets from the links that they put on there. And that's the right thing to do, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I don't know if we can do a bit of a confessional, we can do Tickets Anonymous here or something. But last year, I've been interested in ticket resale for 15 years and working in it more or less directly for the last 10. Last year, I had tickets for the Rolling Stones. I wanted to see if I could get some more tickets for friends. I was hearing they may be sold out, so I just put Rolling Stones, Hyde Park, into a search engine that happened to be Google, and I was trying to multitask. I was trying to do a bunch of different things, hit the link, went down, and it was only actually when I got to the payment page and I saw a ticket that was 4 times the value that I paid, it was only then that I even looked to see what website I was on and realized I was on Viagogo.
Wow.
So, I mean, either that means I'm a real idiot, and that's possibly the case, or it means that this is a really, really easy...
It's very well done. It's very well done because you go to Google, Google is a very well-respected company, People trust Google. So you go to Google, and Google give you 3-4 links on the top, which are all from resellers, and you click them, and you believe it. And so, Google, without knowing or not, they are a necessary accomplice for that. And Google is part of that, and they need to be aware of that, the same way that many years ago they understood they could not be putting on the top position the links to download illegal music. And they stopped, the record industry managed to stop downloading illegal music through Google. So that's the same case, Google should rethink what they are doing, because they are part of the problem, without their support, their help, all these people will not be able to sell that many tickets. In fact, Sam, you will correct me if I'm wrong, but for a few years ago, Google stopped taking advertising from resellers. And I think the traffic of ticket sales, it was reduced 2/3, right, Sam?
That's right. It was, I think, May to November 2019, and this was following some court action in the UK against Viagogo. And basically, global traffic to Google delisted advertising from Viagogo for this period, would not accept Viagogo's adverts, and global traffic to Viagogo's websites across the world fell by 2/3.
So then, as far as Google keep accepting this advertising, we cannot solve the problem. We can spend hours and a lot of money making a campaign and making people aware, but we cannot get through all the people in the world. There will always be people that, okay, Harry Styles Barcelona tickets, okay, bam, 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 okay, first link, they click, and as you say, they look very real, they look very legitimate, they look very official, and they confuse everybody, and they buy it. There's nothing we can do.
So, I mean, this is a really tricky problem. Neo, you mentioned the record industry 10 or so years ago with takedowns of MP3s, but being devil's advocate, it wasn't easy.
No,
we
nothing is easy, but we have to try, because if we don't try and we go for it, then the problem will be there forever. We need to do something. It's getting out of control.
I think the promoter associations in each countries, I think the Spanish are quite advocate. I think that the French are very, very advocating at their local governments to try to pass a law through in those countries that then becomes European law. The French are super far with that. And we are trying to go, well, if it's a law in France, can it not be a law in all the other 26 countries? Apparently, it cannot go that quickly. So I think we will get to what we want. I think it would just take a long time for us to get there. But I agree, if we all remember Napster, I don't know whether anyone is here that remember that, suddenly songs were for free. We didn't even know how to run a computer, but songs were for free, and millions of people downloaded it. And I think that took down 500 million links at the time, Google. So if we think of our smaller industry that isn't the recording industry, there is a huge number of if those tickets go down, I think these companies will collapse. Personally, because if the traffic isn't being derived to them, then I think they can be derived to the people that actually sell the tickets legitimately.
I mean, on the one hand, we have Google's own ad policies on our side, and we mention Google because they're the biggest search engine, but this issue is about search, not Google. But these search companies, including Google, they have policies against misleading consumers, and so on the one hand, we have their own policies on our side. On the other hand, there's a huge amount of money to be made in this, and the search engines know it. You mentioned France. For anyone that doesn't know the situation in France, France have a very strong law on ticket resale, which is that you're not allowed to resell tickets unless the ticket owner, the promoter, grants you authority. And the authorities and an organization called Prodis in France took Google to court for continuing to place adverts from Viagogo and other search engines, and won. And you'd think at that point the search engines would accept that there's been a court order preventing them from running these ads, but they didn't. They appealed it. And luckily for us and the French live music industry, and in fact the French live performance and sports industry, the French legal rule won, obviously, but it's interesting that had to go to appeal, and that was recently won in the last couple of months. So again, this is, I don't want to be negative, but it's a big and tricky issue. And as you say, there were 500 million takedown requests, and they were operated from the RIAA, the Record Industry Association of America, as well as organizations in Europe like the BPI and its sister organizations across Europe. And so with file sharing, it was the whole world really working together on that. And actually, we have to accept that despite some really encouraging moves in the States, ticket resale is still common business, acceptable business in the States. And in a way, Europe and the UK, we're going to be on our own with this.
Yeah, we will, definitely. I mean, that's part of the problem. I mean, Google is an American company, and for American guys, in many states, reselling is like, okay, I own the ticket, it's like I own a car, I can resell the car. So I own the ticket, what's the problem? They don't understand it. It's total different culture. But of course, we're talking about a country where you can go to supermarket and buy an AK-47. So very different values, okay? So
I think what we need to establish maybe for the people that are not in ticketing is that a ticket is a limited product for a one-time experience. If we all think about what we're actually selling, and if we draw the conclusion with a car, there is a car, and usually there is not just one car. There is, like, say, a model of a car, and there's like 100,000 copies of it. So you sell that, and that's something that you could possibly get somewhere else. What we sell is a one-time experience in Barcelona with Harry that night, and we know the venue has a capacity cap. So that makes people crazy. And I think what you experience, why people cry and try to go crazy at the door, is they want to get in. They want to see what they've been longing for. And we all seen that. I mean, I started as a fan, and so did you. And so we all know what that feels like. But to sell something that then disappoints those fans is really shabby. It's something that is bigger than just the financial transaction. It's an emotional letdown. So when they come to the gate and they break down, and you've seen parents with their kids, they bring the kids and all the tickets are invalid, that's really something. That's quite a big distressing situation. It's different than going to try to buy a car and the car's broken. Okay, the car's broken, buy another car. This you cannot do, and the band will go on in 10 minutes. So what we are dealing with is an emotional transaction from an artist to an audience, and we trying to make it as fair and as affordable as possible. And then there's those fuckers inside who just go, oh, so because you're the fan, we're just going to rob you, and we're going to rob you over and over again. It needs to stop. We need legislation to say this has to stop, because it's out of hand. Seriously, people. I mean, I don't know how you people feel there, but it's out of control.
Out of control.
It's out of control.
Yeah.
By the way,
you
people, I can't see any of you.
No,
but
there's thousands of them. I can feel it.
yeah, it's horrendous. There's a resale outside to get in.
Exactly. But if you do have any questions, just
comments,
sort of raise your hands or wave your hands or start
Shout.
stamping your feet or something, because we'd like to hear from you as well. So I think, Scumeck, the legislation is getting stronger, and I think possibly our message to search engines has to be along the lines of work with us, talk to us, take this seriously. We're going to be better partners in the end, and it would be great to do this with you directly initially rather than through the authorities.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And again, going to my people here who are on the front line, all of these three are on the front line, but perhaps you, particularly Nicole, have been dealing with fans who have got the tickets through wrong means, tickets that you have to delist. What's it like explaining to them sort of where they came unstuck and what they should do?
Well, I mean, with this experience we made at the Take That tour, that was just that I realized that we have to do educational work. That it's not only customer service, it's really troubleshooting, because it's not only all those crying people with bad energy. That's, by the way, why we had a therapist on tour, in order to help us, because it was also for us, really hard to tell them, sorry, but you can't get in. So, and then now, well, I made 12 years of experience, and I learned, and my experience is that the on-site troubleshooting really made a huge difference, because we had a really well-trained customer service in the office before the shows. So everybody who called us up, we informed them, but it's different when you're there and get the information that you won't get in. That's the moment when you listen. And so that we used these situations, we took the time, we took a lot of troubleshooter on tour in order to be able to really raise awareness how the secondary market works. And then I found out that also my colleagues from the music industry, they haven't heard about Viagogo, so they didn't know how the whole system worked. So it's obvious, how can the fans understand what happened to them? And of course, we can't wait for everybody to get burned once in order not to use search engines for purchasing tickets. But of course, those who got burned wouldn't do it again. So so this is the whole part. It's about communication, until we have a legislation, we have something changed. It's about communication, in any angle, and preferably from the artist themselves.
Yeah, can I just go in with that, Nicole? What we are finding, and you tell me if I'm wrong, that when we are trying to, and some agents and managers would probably not really fully understand why we're trying to personalize tickets or make tickets available through means of personalization. They sometimes think that we're trying to make it complicated for the fans. What we're trying to do, our artists out there, and I don't know whether there's any in the room, we're trying to protect your income for someone else not to get to your income and steal it. So basically, if you were to be on our side and say, well, hang on a minute, maybe we should promote that personalization or whatever the legislation in each country will allow, make the consumer journey safe for us not to be robbed. So if artists would actually speak out and say, hey, this would be a good thing. Ed Sheeran did that. Ed Sheeran went out and said, buy my tickets through these means. Rammstein doing it because we are personalizing the whole European tour, and 1.7 million tickets are sold with each name of the customer on it. However, that's way too little for what could be done.
Yeah, well, what happens is some artists and some managers, but let's start with some artists, they are, have a big ego and they want to sell out fast. So when the manager also want to sell out fast to give the good news to the artist and be the hero. So when these people the managers see that we are proposing something that may slow down ticket sales, they don't like it. And I remember a situation years ago, I'm not going to say the artist, and we had a protocol technically to, at that time, and now it got much more sophisticated, but at that time we were able to detect the bots. We were able to know when a purchase was coming from a bot. So
hang on, everyone knows what a bot is? Yes, maybe. Okay, well, can you just explain what a bot is?
Well, a bot is a machine that, is buying the ticket, and it's not a customer,
And it buys it so fast that we as humans could not put in all the information. So the bot will do 10,000 times faster.
Exactly. You get the computer and boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So we were able to detect which petitions of buying were coming from bots. So we gave the manager the great news. Hey, we got that website. And okay, great. Then a couple of days after, we get a call. Oh, Neo, that thing about the stopping the bots, it's a very good idea. You should do it, but not too much. Don't stop them too much because we want to sell out. We want to sell out in one day. So don't stop you just control the bots, but not too much. They were more concerned about selling out fast than really meant them making sure that the tickets went under to the right hands. And this still happens. Many acts, that happens. And and some acts, for example, they say, I want to go on sale on the same day in all of Europe or in all of the States, and it has to be on that day, because they want to sell all US in one day. And then you tell them that's not a good idea, it's better, we do it in different days, different countries, and they don't want to, because they want to be able to send a press release saying, okay, we sold out Europe in one day, or States in one day, and that's their priority.
Well, Taylor Swift recently in the States being
that's the perfect example. I know that she was advised not to go on sale with all the shows on the same day, and they refused to do it, and then it got out of control.
But moving away for a moment from the dynamics and the pressures and the desire to show that you've sold out immediately, and the need to maybe work away at that and move to a more organic system of ticket buying. Just going back to you, Nicole, you mentioned communication with the fans, and I just want to ask you to break that down a little bit more in terms of what you'd like to see ideally.
Yeah, I mean, what we already said, that if they don't distinguish, they don't know, they just want to buy a ticket, they don't care where. So it's important because we know the danger, so we have to inform them as soon as possible and as much as possible. So beforehand, during pre-sale, by phone, I remember we did we did some radio interviews. We tried really different angles in order to explain everybody will get checked. So, and they didn't believe it. That's why we had these hundreds of, I couldn't see the end of the crowd. That was really huge. So I think really communication is key. And as my experience is, if you explain them what happened and what can be done, because this is also something we offer on the on-site troubleshooting, then personalized tickets doesn't prevent people from buying tickets. Because as long as they understand what happened, they embrace it, because they understand that it's for their protection as well. So this is crucial. That's why I mentioned also, and I keep mentioning it, that I believe it's a team effort. It's not something only the promoters or the ticketing companies or the managements. Everybody has to do their part, and then it can work, because we proved it. We're a really small team. We managed to do that in 2011, and now with huge Pearl Jam shows or Radiohead shows, we had just 3 troubleshooters, because they are so well trained, and we really got the whole concept is perfected and optimized, so it worked. And if we could do it, everybody can.
Yeah.
It's just a question of, do you really want to do it? Or do you, well, as Neo mentioned, is there, some part that says,
No, but still personalization, it's great for consumers and to know, but the professional reseller, he will buy them anyway. He will buy the tickets, and then he will sell them, however he can. And then if the buyer has a problem at the door, it's not his,
Of course, but as you mentioned, everybody, and this will always be a thing, so that people tickets will get traded. If you put a name on it, if you put it on digital device only, it's people will resell tickets. But it's just as you said, it's about how many.
Yeah.
So and what can at least help preventing the situation which we all agree on that it got out of control.
Yeah.
I think the thing that we see on stage next to me are people who have proven that ticket resale can be, if not completely wiped out, at least controlled in a way that works for everybody, and including the artists and obviously the fans. And the thing Nicole was saying is that it's up to the whole team to really take on board communicating with the fans and making sure that they understand where to buy the tickets, what is allowed, what isn't allowed, where they should be going and where they should not be going. And I think what we need to do is start an awareness shift within the live sector that this is something that we need to more actively control and take control of. And at the moment, you see some tours going on sale with really good guidance from the artist, and you see others with very little indication of where people should be going. So a number of organizations have put our heads together, and we're in the process of finalizing something called Make Tickets Fair. If I could get the next slide, that will just show us what we're talking about. And it's an information campaign. And actually, there's a website, maketicketsfair.org, which does today contain information for fans on safe ticketing and what the laws are in different countries. It also contains information for promoters and event organizers and agents on how to go about making sure that fans understand where they should be going and what they should be doing. And the key part of Make Tickets Fair actually for the industry side is providing you with simple messaging assets that you can use in your socials. I'll try and get on to the next. Great, it seems to be working now. So this is just an example of one of the assets which you'll be able to download and use for your shows. It's a basic visual asset to use on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, TikTok. And the idea is that in the white space, you will put the artist's photo. And if you go onto the Make Tickets Fair website, you will see some proposed text to use just to explain to your fans where the approved ticket sellers are. And there's actually 4 assets that we've created. A next asset is very much true to what we've been talking about today, which is be careful using search. Don't necessarily always believe that the top result that comes up is the correct one. And again, the sample text that is on the website will suggest that you, again, give people the links to the correct ticketing providers. Again, there's an asset for once you've sold out and where to go in order to resell tickets. And finally, there's another asset for how to resell your tickets safely if you can no longer attend the gig. So I don't know in our last remaining minutes what you all think of this and what we need to do in order to make sure that the live music industry and beyond live performance and sport can really take this on.
I think we need to start publishing it and showing it to artists and agents and managers, because Neo and I, we deal mostly with agents, and maybe just talk them through it again and say, look, you don't have to give up hope that we can sell the tickets for face value pricing, but if you could help a little bit at least, showing this or linking it up, then that would be the next step. But I think also we as an industry need to push forward and trying to go for European legislation of what the French were doing.
Yeah, and I think that we need, and going back to Google, or I mentioned Google because it's the main engine searcher. It's the one everybody uses. I want to think that the people that allow this advertising, they don't really know the damage they are doing.
No.
Because we are not only talking about reselling for abusive prices. It's not only that. It's those advertising sometimes put people in contact with other people that will sell the same barcode several times, and that's not reselling. That's really committing a crime. So they get one ticket, and or 2 tickets, a pair of tickets, and they sell the same barcode 10 times. And that's not reselling. That's committing a crime. And then of course, if it's a resell, and we see the guy crying at the door, and we have a space in the venue, even we are promoters, we are human beings, and sometimes we are not as heavy as we pretend to be, and we try to find a way to this poor person to get in. But when they have sold the barcode 10 times and the show is sold out, we cannot get the people in because we are over capacity. And then if this guy has sold the same pair of tickets 10 times, it's going to be 9 buyers which don't get in. Even we want to be nice and let them get in, we cannot because it's full. And I don't think the Google people understand that by allowing these links, they are being accomplish of a crime. They don't understand, and we need to make sure that one way or the other they are aware of that.
Plus, I think that I come back to the emotional transaction here. When every consumer in the world wants to find the best price, they check out different websites, they go to shops, they speak to their friends, they do all of this stuff to get the best price. When it comes to tickets, they stop. It stops. It's like it's a tunnel vision. I need to get my fucking ticket. It's insane. The people that we have spoken to over the years, And we asked them, so why did you buy through secondary ticket? Because there were only 2 tickets left and I need to get my 2 tickets. Well, have you not thought that maybe somebody says it was just 2 tickets and there were maybe 2,000 tickets? No, 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 that cannot be true. It's like the mind stops to operate. And maybe what we need to do is just to go, people, chill the fuck out a little bit and switch your brain on like you do every other day and just go, okay, so if Harry, and I come back to Harry just because I don't know anybody else, if Harry goes back on sale, Harry, where do you want me to buy my tickets? And then you ask Harry through his website what Harry says to buy the tickets, and you buy the tickets and then you get in. So I don't know how to appeal to that because I don't have the language for it, but it just switch your bloody brain on and do what you always do.
Yeah, so we come back to the point that it should be not only, but as part of the team, the artists have a direct line to their fans, so they should use it, and they listen to them. It's their favorite band, it's their favorite artist. That's why they don't act rationally when they buy tickets, but rather emotionally, totally. So most of the time, in the beginning, I thought they were kidding me when I asked them, where did you buy the tickets? And 19% of the answers were, on the internet.
On the internet.
But it's true. It's true. And I really thought, well, were you kidding me, right? But no, they weren't. And it still is the answer. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think if Harry knows how much Harry actually could speak to them, then Harry should and will say, hey, guys, look, just buy them from these sites. These are my sites. Harry supports these sites. And then off we go. I think if that transaction could be done while we in Europe fight for European legislation and do all the boring stuff, then I think that would be one step further to protect the fans and not getting them ripped off. Because Harry gets ripped off, the fans get ripped off, we get a little bit ripped off because our deals are so tight we hardly make anything. However, the emotional transaction, the journey for the fan is much better if, of course, they buy the ticket legitimately, they go in, because at the end of the day, people, they will not hang it up to us. They don't even know who the fuck we are. They will say, Harry didn't let me in. I don't know whether Harry wants to live with that karma. I think Harry would be a better person if he knew that everyone gets in.
Yeah, it depends how big was the check he got for the world tour.
Well, okay, that's a different story, but, you know.
So I have 2 questions I want to ask, but there's less than 5 minutes left of this panel. I've asked plenty. Is there anyone in the audience?
Is Harry here?
This one handler.
I see a hand up.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can get you a mic, but if we can.
Somebody's
Yeah,
running.
it's coming. The mic
Somebody
is
with a
coming.
white shirt running to...
Mic is coming, yeah, good.
Is it working? Yeah. Hi. Thanks for the insights. I've got a question about who has the power to cancel a ticket. So you sell the ticket to a customer. We don't know what he wants it for. That ticket goes into the secondary ticket website. If it's not general admission, it should have the seat and so where it's located, so it can be identified. So then, when it appears there, why is that ticket not cancelled? We have the artist, we have the manager, we have the venue, we have the promoter.
Just to cut you short, we can cancel because we own the ticket.
Yeah.
The promoter has the ticket.
Promoter, yeah.
We go to the ticketing company and say, cancel the ticket, to answer your question.
Okay, and is that happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if the people are turning up to the venue,
Yeah.
Well,
then it's not
okay,
happening.
so, okay,
If I get a
Very-
message saying it's been cancelled, I don't turn to the venue.
very good question. Okay, so presume that you buy a ticket through the secondary ticketing platform. You have your tickets, as you just said, you have the barcode, it looks all real. When we cancel the ticket, where do we go to? We go to Viagogo. We go to the secondary ticketing site and we say, by the way, this ticket is canceled.
Go to the buyer.
Yeah. The secondary ticketing site does not go to their customer. So basically, they're misleading you. We cancel the ticket. Viagogo or the secondary, just call them the secondary ticketing site, knows the ticket is canceled, and then they don't tell you that. So you turn up and you think it's our mistake, but actually the transaction in the middle is not clear.
Okay. Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah. I never knew if it was the promoter or the ticket.
No, it's us.
The promoter.
Counselor.
So
But I
what
think
we...
there is you know, if you start canceling tickets, it will definitely reduce the problem. I mean, I don't know how many.
No, we
tickets are
can't.
actually
No, we
cancelled.
cancel the tickets. We cancel the tickets.
Well, you
but
can't cancel a general admission
Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
we can.
because it's got to identify.
It's
Yeah.
a barcode.
So how many people? I'm totally baffled now. The amount of people that buys tickets on the secondary ticket website and they get through. I know, I've done it. I know many people that do it because otherwise people wouldn't buy them anyway.
That's correct. So what we are appealing to is we are the minority, sadly, because when we put names on tickets and you buy the ticket through a secondary ticketing website, it doesn't actually say your name. It says somebody else's name, and the reseller tells you, hey, Jim, don't worry about it. It says Thomas, but you can be Jim. It doesn't matter. Only when we check on the door, that's when you don't get in. If we don't check, you get in, you spend 10 times the price, and nobody cares. So what we're appealing to is promoters do what we do, check every single person, check that Jim is Jim, and if it's not Jim, then sorry, you can't come in. Then you only realize. So it's a very good question, because Nicole has a team of people that have blacklisted people of professional resellers. How many people are?
But not only that, it's so many different kinds of fraud. It's not only, we are not canceling tickets because they got resold through Viagogo. It's different, like someone bought too many tickets with different email addresses, different accounts and stuff. So that is how we are able to dig them out. And then we talk to the promoter, and then the promoter says, okay, cancel the tickets.
Yeah, let me just give you an
So
example.
they're different. I'm just trying.
We're doing 7 shows at Rammstein in Germany, and I think we sold 700,000 tickets. From the 700,000 tickets, we have identified and canceled 25,000 tickets. So 25,000 people will not be told that their ticket is invalid because their name's on the ticket. They will turn up to the 7 shows and won't let in. They will not get in because they're not the right people. So that's when basically the shit hits the fan and they go, yeah, it's not my name on it. So but if you don't check, they get in. You get fucked, we get fucked, and they get in. So to make a stop to that, we actually have to, check everyone and have the names on the ticket. Let me ask you this, just out of curiosity. Have you ever bought a ticket with a name on it that wasn't your name?
Yeah. Yes, I did. Yeah.
And you got through?
And I got through.
Okay.
Yeah. But they're not high profile. So I don't know if this, because what you're talking about.
We're not
happens
going to
with high
crucify you.
profile.
But it's good
artists,
to,
you know.
no, but what we do, I think we are the minority of checking. The majority will not do that because, as I said, I think a little bit earlier, once a lot of promoters think the ticket's been sold, that's it.
They don't want to know.
Yeah, they don't want to know. But we like to know because we like to give the
Yeah,
experience.
because it's the only way to stop the problem.
Yeah, but thank you for the question.
No, thank you. And I hope you find a solution and legislation too.
We hope so too.
Thanks for the question, which I
Yes.
think really brings to the
Absolutely.
fore
No, it's good.
the issues here. And I never knew that you actually have or have had in the past therapists join you
Just
on
the
the
first
tour,
one, just at the first big tour. was
which
Okay.
shows you how difficult it is. I don't know whether we have time for another question,
There is one question there.
Primavera?
Yeah.
I think we do. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Very, very interesting panel. Actually, you're discussing stuff that's very recent news, for the Coldplay shows, and what you just mentioned, Scumeck, about Rammstein. Like, if those numbers are true, I think it's crazy that you've had to cancel 25K tickets. Like, that's absolutely insane. Like, I don't really understand how can this happen nowadays. I do work for a resale company called Ticket Swap. I look after the operations here in Spain. I've been working for them for the last year and a half. And I think all of your points are totally, spot on. I think it's a lack of, there's not a framework in terms of, there's no ecosystem. I've been actively working with artist management, with ticketing companies, with promoters, Neo Sala, he's like, like a world famous promoter, he has amazing deals, he's been working with Bruce, U2, like you name it. And they know, the problems that resale causes to their fans and to their own work. And I think you're the ones that have the power to tell ticketing companies that there's a need to create an ecosystem. Resale is not going to go away. Resale is going to exist, and exactly as you said, people are going to go to the internet, whatever that means, and then put Elton John tickets. Viagogo is going to pop up because it's an amazing CO company, and that's it. You're going to have people that are going to buy tickets that are not going to work. So my point of view is that the actors that have the power to change the conversation should be really talking among each other. So I would love to be able to sit down with let's say Dr. Music and say, listen, we should maybe look at an integration and create an ecosystem safe for everyone, because we sold more than 2,000 tickets for Bruce Springsteen, and we had very few cases, at least from our reports. But if I had like 100% guarantee that no one's going to have any issues on the door because we have an integration with the ticket provider, then the problem is solved. And I don't need to charge crazy amounts of money for the tickets. What I want is to create a safe ecosystem for everyone and make sure that if you cannot make it last minute, you can sell your ticket and make someone super happy. And it's shitty. It's a shitty experience when you see people that go to the door with, people they travel from many places to see Coldplay this week, and they weren't able to get in. So my question or my request would be that we should probably work together, not in trying to fence each other out, because you see ticket providers, they're all trying to launch their own ticket resale. That's not working. Personalization, it's only a hurdle, but people are going to try to buy tickets any other way. And the best way would be to just allow this second stream of, it's like a new sales cycle in a safe way. And the only way to do that is to work between artist management, ticket providers, and the tech companies that provide the platform to do that. It's the only way. So my request is just for you to think about it.
Great, that's a really good point. I think speaking on behalf of FEET, we recognize it's really, really important to enable people to resell tickets if they can't attend for whatever reason. They need to have a safe means of reselling. We now have Ticketmaster opening up resale, Eventim opening up resale, AXS. We also have Twickets, which is face value resale, which is face value is what FEET believes in. Go ahead, Neo.
Listen, we are not against all resell. We are against speculative resell. Of course, if you talk to the promoter and you give us a tool to resell tickets for a fair price, for the face value price, of course we are happy if a fan buys a ticket and gets sick or the plane change and then doesn't want to go. Of course, we are able to. We are happy to enable tools for him to resell the ticket, but the face value to the right people and with the promoter knowing. But that's not what Viagogo and others are doing.
No.
Viagogo, we are telling them we don't want you to resell, and they resell anyway. So that's a different story.
Mm.
Okay, great. I'm being told that we are now out of time. Thank you. It's been a really interesting panel, really interesting chat among these esteemed panelists and also yourselves. A couple of good learnings are that on search, we've seen the record industry be successful on search in the past, and we're going to be successful again with search on ticketing. It's just a question of how long and how difficult it's going to be to get there. And it's great that we now have some tools available for everyone to use to really help explain to consumers where they should be buying their tickets from. I'd just like to thank a round of applause for Neo and Nicole and Scumeck, please,
for you.
Giving your time and
thank
for
you, Sam.
yourselves.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam, for hosting us.
You've been great.
You did fantastic.
And see you all soon.
Okay.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty.